Yo, welcome into another episode of Capturing the Game. It's the Game Within the Game podcast featuring me, your host, Desmond Jones, and my man's the one and only Juwan Polo Man Stewart. Today we got another special guest in the building, but she's just more than special. She's legendary, but we will go ahead and talk about it a little bit later. But we want to remind the audience and listeners that Capturing the Game is presented by Capture Sports Agency, where the CEO and founder is Shonta Smith-Jones. Now let's go ahead and talk about today's guest. Today, we bring you an absolute legend in the game, a legend to the WNBA. She is a WNBA former coach. Her name is Pokey Chatman. Pokey, how are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. Glad to join you, fellas. Good.
Thank you. See, all right, so I almost butchered. I did slightly butcher my title introduction. So are we counting butchering names and title introductions, Juwan? I'm trying to figure it out now. I gotta know.
Not gonna say a word. I'm just gonna.
You're not gonna
continue. I'm not gonna just finish. Just you.
You said
close.
Names. You didn't say titles.
Yeah, but you can't butcher that. You just the whole intro. You can't butcher the whole intro. Let's go that route.
Okay. All right.
Tough audience.
But you said you almost butchered it, so you technically good. You shouldn't have told me that you almost butchered it, because now I picked up on that you butchered
it. If you when we go back and do the playthrough, you'll pick it out.
Yeah.
Pokey, how you doing today? I know I had to bring the NFL up right now, but
can you update me? I'm not going to look back at my television, but I need the Saints to win and the 49ers to lose. So if that does not happen, I don't want to know until we're done. Deal?
Okay.
So if the Rams win, I'll just say the LA did their job. That's what I'll say. That'd be our code word. LA did their job.
Okay, I'll handle it.
All right.
Okay. But Pokey, as we start off all of our podcasts, can you go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, just girl from the South. Here in New Orleans right now. I've been coaching a few decades, 3 decades to be exact. Coached in college at LSU, coached in Europe, little Euro League, coached in Chicago Sky, and most recently the Indiana Fever and WNBA. And lately, the last couple of years, been doing a little bit consulting, working on my game as well. As you know, that's always a process of evolving and learning and stepping into some new things. So just really enjoying these crazy times that we're all trying to navigate.
Yeah, absolutely. These past couple of years have been kind of crazy and whatnot. So definitely with COVID and just everything that's going on in the world right now. It's because it's so much a name. That's a whole nother entire podcast in itself.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. So I want to hear about your time at being at LSU, because my father is he went to Southern University, and a lot of my family is all LSU. They love LSU. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about LSU and your time being there.
Yeah, I'm from Louisiana, so I played at LSU. Played for the great Sue Gunter, not just a mentor, but also a friend. And coached there for 14 years as an assistant, then as a head coach, and then from LSU. I was fortunate at LSU to really be able to get involved with every aspect of it. And I think that's the best thing Sue did for me. I didn't realize it at the time. When I hear people talking now, like, she lets you have access to every part of the program. You weren't just coaching or just recruiting. You were doing budgeting, speaking. She was just growing me. I didn't even realize that. And it served a really good purpose. And so after LSU, I went over to Europe, actually Russia, had a domestic league in Russia and a European league, and probably the most growth as a coach, because the way that European game is played, their small ball was way ahead of us in their stretch 4s and 5s. So it was really a unique time for me to learn that aspect of it. And then I was able to take some of that back over to the WNBA when I came back and took over as a GM and head coach of the Chicago Sky. So look, I've been fortunate, man, to be around some tremendous coaches, people that poured into me, but also some players that challenged me and made me better, and made me want to be better.
So I guess can you speak into just like being in for a different country alone, I've never been to one. So I guess, hearing like Russia, how was that experience for you?
Yeah, first of all, if you go there as a coach or an athlete, you're automatically revered, and I don't know any other way to say it, because they're not ashamed. They want what you have, and if you can give them that expertise, we invented the game. We're also speaking a universal language, so we're over there trying to navigate and learn their language, and they're trying to learn our language, but they made it very comfortable in terms, and I'm not just talking about money. Obviously,
Right.
that helps as well. But the things that they could neutralize, they did, from a driver and translators and tickets for people to come over and visit. But being older, I wanted to not have a translator and kind of make myself uncomfortable and learn that language so I could maybe talk to the players and say "Zdravstra, trenirovke 10:30, tomorrow practice is at 10:30. And when I was really pouring into myself. Look, you're laughing at me, but then they and I was pouring into their culture, and it was probably one of the most significant things I did. And it just kind of grew from there, because you're in Russia, but you're playing EuroLeague games, so you're in Spain, Italy, Poland, France, and it was amazing. It really was.
I was gonna ask you. You already kind of you beat me to the punch, because I was gonna be like, you tell me some Russian out here. That's what I was gonna say. Now you speaking Russian, I'm like, oh Lord, she know Russian. She know the Russian.
She said it pretty fluently too. By the way, let the record show that she said it pretty fluently.
Little bit. That's a little bit in Russian. I know choo Russian, but I was there 6 years. I was there 6 years, and it really helps you be a better communicator, because they always talk about, we talk too much here, right? We put too many words. Like if they're going to wake up in the morning, they'll say, I stand up at 8. We say, tomorrow I'm going to wake up at 8. Like, they just get right to it. And so that helped me to be a more effective communicator with the players, because it's universal, the sport, and you could shrink it down and be more concise. So it was helpful in ways I didn't even imagine.
Yeah. And also I always I should have focused more on learning different languages growing up. I felt like I would have been better. But anyways, knowing that,
man.
I can't even roll the R. See, that's a problem. See, Juwan, you get.
I ain't doing nothing. I'm not doing nothing.
Right. Anyways, so Pokey, I know that you coached on different levels. You coached in college, the WNBA, and also overseas. Can you go ahead and talk about some of the differences between coaching amongst all those different levels?
Yeah, the collegiate, you're taking those kids from their homes, and that in and of itself is so different, depending on what type of home they came from, where they came from, and they're technically young adults, but they're still learning. So it's a bigger scope and focus on the totality of those kids, and the academic side, just pouring into them, although we know you're there to win games. So it's that model, and which is crucial. People don't talk about it a lot, but that's a crucial part of it as well. And then you go abroad, because I went abroad then to the WNBA, and I mean, I'm coaching some of these young ladies that are 16 years old, and they're professionals, and they're in another country. So they have this world maturity about them, right? They really feel like, I can't believe they're giving me money to play this game. There's a different appreciation. I had a Serbian, Montenegrin, Croatian, Russian, so many on my team. And I remember one of I won't say her name, Serbian player, she said, I'm not supposed to like you. You guys bombed us. I mean, she was joking. But, she talks about practicing and bombs going off and running in the shelter in the gym. And we don't know that, right. We can't feel that. So watching all those different countries and myself come together because of sport, people can say it does that, but when you live it and you see it and you feel it, man, it just gives you an appreciation for how deep sport can dive into your life and affect things. And then, you get to the WNBA, and it's a relatively new league because it's compared to the men that's been around so long. But in Europe, they're like, it's the cream of the crop. right? So it's that mindset where the differences lie. And but it's still growing. So you think you have professionals, but some of them are still coming from college. And now they're hitting the real world. And so it's some of those same things, how to balance their checkbook, stop buying tennis shoes, maybe buy a house, tell them who FICA is. FICA, who is FICA taking money out of my check? So it's interesting. I didn't have that. But at the end of the day, the thing that remained the same in all those spots was just the camaraderie of people that were playing the game and around the game who are trying to elevate it. FIBA's trying to make the WNBA better, it's trying to make college better. It's this totality of things because we're trying to survive and elevate each other.
So let me ask you this. Now, I've had this talk with people multiple times, different debates about, the WNBA versus just, but why do you think like the international countries like the Russias, the, Italy's, they value the women's sport more than we do in America?
Yeah, that's a tough one word to put on it, because it starts with this. It's a different model, right? So the capitalistic model is us.
Yeah.
That's real, right?
True.
There's oligarchs that's put not every place. I mean, there's certain countries, federations, and they feel that. So it's slower in that regard. But and that's part of it. Someone said, well, how can they pay all that money? But because they're really they want to see their country. It's just a love for country. You ever notice, like I was watching the Olympics with someone from Brazil, and they were talking about how we're always just expected to win. Like sometimes we'll win gold and the reaction is a 5, everyone else is a 15, right? And it's just that love of country because of, obviously the history of the world and how things are. But I think they're trying to get to where we are. So they're trying to entice people to elevate theirs, and they're not using the same business model. So I think it's more about that. And the other thing is just getting those young kids involved, just because of the discipline. They don't have some of the things that we have here to get them through life.
Man, there's so much to say about that answer.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're absolutely fine. This is why we're having this conversation now. Because one thing I always want to ask about is, and it probably goes back to the model, which is the stuff that you just mentioned. But why is overseas finding so much more success in getting the young women and involved in sports compared to what we've been doing over here in America?
Man, you're gonna get me shot if I really go there. Listen, it's I know we're supposed to be happy and appreciative that we're slow and steady and all that, but we're not. And it's okay to not be that way. And don't misunderstand that. You're grateful, you're appreciative, but numbers show if you pour into women's sports, and that is going to elevate everything that it touches, the sports, the money, the TV, the opportunities, the mind, the way people move. And then guess what? Society becomes better. But it's one of those things where it's just a system that is slow to move. And even though we'll have one little victory, it'll just be a little ripple here. So we just got to keep having that momentum in those moments so people to realize that. And please don't misunderstand me. I know we need more to want to pour. That's all I'm saying. That's not to knock the people who are. We just need more to want to be able to pour into it and see that it's not the men versus the women. It's both of us. We talk about, we talk about that partnership in every other aspect. And so why can that not be the same conversation? And like I said, it's going to get there. I just want it to be a little faster.
I'm in agreement with you.
Okay. Good answer.
I'm in agreement with you. Good answer. We're going Family Feud. Good answer. No. But all right, so let's go back to basketball real quick. So and your time in Chicago, right? How is it being, or how challenging it is to be a GM and a coach? Because I feel like that's super hard to do. and like to wear both of those hats at the same time, but can you talk about how difficult or maybe how non-difficult it is wearing both of those hats?
Yeah, it's, how can I say? It's difficult, but it was probably it was an expansion team. Hadn't had the success, this past year they won a championship. So I was okay with it at that moment because I'm like, hey, I get to choose how I want to move. And it was the learning curve of, from the collective bargaining agreement to agents to that whole other aspect of it. But it's extremely it's difficult. It's doable, but it's difficult. But I really enjoyed it. And I think what has happened now with this new collective bargaining agreement, there's more money, there's more opportunities. I think there's a lot more competition and there's a lot more movement in free agency. And it's definitely something that's good to have separate. I'm not saying it can't be together, but it's just, I like the way things are moving with opportunities and players being okay. Hey, I'm gonna make 220, whatever they making now, and stay home and pour into the community and have some awareness. That was never the case. Just because they have to go abroad and, and get those coins over there. So it was difficult, but fun and challenging.
I can, like I said, I can only imagine. I feel as though like me, I'm wearing so many hats. I already feel like, yeah, we're not gonna get into it. So one thing that I kind of glazed over and didn't get a chance to talk about was, how did you fall in love with basketball?
um, I love all the sports. I just, how it is just the one thing you could always do by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
or you can play pickup a one-on-one or two, and you can't go play baseball and everything else, right? So it was something that was always going on in the neighborhood. And then I was decent, right? And then that was fun as well. And I just I love the intricacies of the game. Don't misunderstand me. I love the athleticism and how things have changed and the small ball and 3-point line and everything. But I just love the skill set and the chess match that you see and played. It's not even game to game; it's possession by possession now with all the analytics and players really pouring into that IQ piece of it. So I love it. I love what it's meant to me. I wouldn't have gone to LSU without basketball. I mean, let's get real. Wouldn't have been an option back in the day. So I was like, damn, I'm pouring into this. This is what I'm getting back, and I'm enjoying it. And then it just kept like, this is a pretty damn good deal. And I just happened to really enjoy it. And it's one of those things where, I'll watch the police league play the firemen's league. I just like the game, or a high school game, and watching kids get comfortable and confident. I started coaching 10-year-olds. They'll come to practice and they can't dribble, but then they leave shooting a left-handed layup, and then you got them, right?
Mhm.
So I just enjoy that whole process of it.
So let me ask this. I know a lot of people bring up about analytics and different stats and whatnot. Do you think the analytics side has, I don't know, dampered or made the game too in depth, or is it more a piece that helps cultivate the rest of the story, if that makes sense?
Well, it does. I think it's a great piece. Um, I think it's a great piece. I think it just adds one more thing to your arsenal. I know we could have conversations about people who don't use the eye test or the gut test. I'm not for that because there's so many elements involved in it. But it's definitely a piece, especially when you're, scouting and or drafting. Wanting to get a big picture of certain things. I think it gives you a platform to start your think, so you can shrink it and get your options down. But I think some people can really pour into it and let the human aspect part of it go. And I'm not for that. But I do believe that it's an important piece to have at your disposal if you want it, because it can really come in handy in certain areas that maybe even the average fan wouldn't even think about. And I mean, like little bitty things like, like some players don't know which block they're better off of. Like, no, baby, you're 74% off this left block. So I got to get the right one up to about, that part.
Right.
So not
Yeah.
the sexy stuff that makes us. So I mean, that's what we're looking at that as well, not just how they're guarding to step up on the right side of the floor. That's good too, but also for the player individual development part of it is good as well.
I was always curious because I mean I've heard the analytics side of things, and it's like you can really drown yourself in stats if you want to, but I think you
Quick,
miss
fast, in a hurry.
yeah, like you will miss the greatness or the piece of a player that the stats don't always reflect what you see vice versa. You can manipulate things to look a certain way all the time. So I mean it's
I
it's
agree.
just one of those things.
I agree. And I think they can be
Yeah.
misused. I think people can use it as a tool for whatever reason. I just think it's decent it's good to have that in your mind to look at, but I wouldn't want to live by it because
Yeah.
it takes away the human element. At the end of the day, that's who you're coaching, those players. They're human and they want to be able to connect with you. It's not about a computer. It's not about the moment. It's not about the run, the feel of the game. They don't know who's in the game. You might have a rookie in a game. I might want a blitzer, but the analytics say, switch that screen. So it's that part that I agree with you.
Yeah.
Very true. So what kind of advice could you give, especially to the youth athletes that's young right now, that's trying to, learn and grow in the game of basketball? What kind of advice could you give to young women that are out there just trying to pursue a basketball career?
Yeah, I know there's a lot of opportunities with high school has summer league, there's club ball, there's AAU, people have player development, the whole nine. I wish they played less games and practice more. That's the thing I'm noticing, and I've been away from college a lot, but you can see things that are missing, like they don't have any reps in the game situations. They don't have any reps at recognizing situations, and you can create that in practice, right? But I know it's a fine line between getting exposure, but then you need experience too. And I wish they would, really consider where I'm going to sit and grow and have all those things and play less games and practice a little bit more, and stop getting player development coaches that have you doing 720s and finger rolls when you can't make a left-handed layup. That part. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no. She said that part. We look, yeah.
There's people out there that's like that,
And it always so and here's the thing. You said youth. Don't misunderstand me.
Oh, yes.
I am so into player development and people recognizing what a particular person needs, when, why, and how. And if you can, then you should. But then when it trickles down to us, the women and the youth, like, baby, you can't do that. Not yet. Yeah. You're not at the rim yet. So all of that is not beneficial. So that's the part that's really tough. But I'm glad there's a lot of focus on the women's game and they have a lot of opportunities. But practice more. That's my big thing. Learn the game, IQ. That'll take you a little bit further.
Now, okay, listen. You brought up AAU. Do you think that AAU has, with that more practice more versus, they play a lot more games, especially in the summer with AAU ball? I mean, do you think that's hindered some growth for, young athletes because they just constantly playing basketball all the time, all year, every year, type of thing?
And this is coming to me through others because I haven't been in it. And that's what I'm hearing, right? But hindering is tough because I know there are some great opportunities out there.
Right.
That squeaky wheel always gets the oil, right? And one is not all. So I think there could be a balance, and I think the AA they should provide that. So I think it's hard for that individual kid, their parents, their coach to say, "Hey, that's too many. Let's focus on this thing," because I want them to have those opportunities. I just want them to redirect some of the focus.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. So what made you start your point guard view? So I believe you called it Pokey's coaching tips, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh wow. I started getting this message when I was in the WNBA. I would have people come to training camp and I said, don't sit too close. I may put you in a drill, right? And his feedback was like, man, thank you so much. Or I'll give him playbook or a scouting report. And the reception was, man, people don't share enough. And I was like, ding, ding, ding. I was fortunate because people shared with me. So that's all I knew. And it would be little stuff like just some, I don't know, inbounds underneath guidelines. It's not a secret. I mean, there's not the nuclear codes we have here. So I don't know why we're holding on to it. And that's why it started. And there was a lot of reception to it, especially from younger coaches, even some older coaches. And sometimes you forget. And so that's kind of where it was, born. And it's kind of fun because then I get a rapport with people and then they can send me stuff and then I'm learning too, because sometimes they think the old head is dead. I'm trying to learn too. So it's just been great doing that.
So okay, so let me ask you this. So I've been throwing around the word pokey a lot. So is that, we heard, is that your nickname? Like, how did you come about getting that name? Because that's not the name that you started off with. So I'm trying to figure out, how did you get to the nickname Pokey?
Well, they drink a lot down here. So my mama, no, I'm just kidding. That's not true. It was I was Dana, but I wasn't fat. No, I wasn't fat. I was a chubby little kid, still got the cheeks. So the Pokey came about, and then that's all everybody knew. And then when I got older, I would sign everything Pokey. And long short, Uncle Sam thought Pokey and Dana were two different people, and I was like, I'm not trying to have that battle. So I just legally changed it like 20 years ago, maybe longer than that. And so it's legally my name. I made for the last 25 years. 25 years or so. So there's people that played for me, went to school with me. They have no idea my name was Dana. None. So Pokey is legal.
Yeah, that's funny to me. People, it's stuff like you play with people, you grew up with people your whole life, and then you tell them, yeah, my real actual name was Dana. They looked at you like, what? You never told us? Like, that's stuff you tell me day one. Like, why is it 20 years later and I'm just not finding out?
That's a down south thing. I think I learned that from my down south people. Like, there's nicknames, people from, like, we don't know the boy real name, we just know his name.
That's true.
That's how it be, like most of, especially in Louisiana and Alabama area, like it was nicknames. That's how you kind of grew up. So it was like, that was really your name. Like, some kids, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's a Pookie over there. Like, you got your Pookie in them. Like, that's Pookie.
Right.
What's Pookie real name? I don't know. That's Pookie. I think his name Lil John or something. Yeah, well, Lil John, that's that boy name. Yeah, Lil John. It's cool to just kind of, because my mom's nickname is like Cookie. That's like, there's plenty of cookies in the world, but that's my nickname.
I have a cookie in my family.
Yeah, see, so
her name is Deborah, though. I know her name is Deborah, but Cookie.
Yeah.
I get it. It is a down south thing, because I have cousins in my family. They still call me by their nickname. Then when they actually hear my real name, they were like, "Who's that?"
Yeah, they don't even know you.
Yeah.
Who that? Desmond. Who? Pookie. Oh, I know him. Yeah, I know him. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say what my nickname was. I'm gonna say
no. We need to hear it.
No,
no. Hold on. Wait. We gotta come on now. Don't be. We all say. I'll say mine. Okay. You say yours.
All right. So my nickname was Boo.
Okay.
I'm gonna call you Boo. Now. Call me Boo.
Listen, full disclosure, and I know my sister's gonna see this. Her boyfriend right now, that's it. He's Boo. Everyone knows him as Boo. That's his nickname. That's crazy.
See?
Boo. What's yours?
It was just Boo.
Mine's is Juju.
Oh. Juju.
Yeah, Juju. Yeah.
I see it.
Okay.
That's a nice little trio here. Boo, Juju, and Pokey. We could rock it, right?
Yeah. There you go.
Sure. We definitely can right now. That's all right. I got so many ideas right now. All right, moving on. I ain't gonna make fun of a man's name like that. That's wrong. That's wrong. I ain't gonna do that to him.
All right.
That's my boy.
All right.
That's my boy. I ain't gonna do that to him.
Yeah. Okay. Keep coming with it.
So we talked about youth, we talked about their game or whatnot. But let's, talk about professionals. Let's talk about, some of the women that are in the W right now. What advice would you give to them in general on how to either just continue to make it or just continue to improve, or just any advice that you would want to give to athletes in the W right now?
Believe it or not, we were preaching to them to watch more basketball, and it didn't just have to be, women's basketball. It's just the trends, NBA to NCAA men to WNBA and you stay ahead of it. And then when you see it, you can keep it top of mind and duplicate it and see the success in it. So that's always been a thing there. And then we're always talking to them about just expanding your game. It's so easy to work on the things that you're awful at or really good at. It's that in between, right? That they don't give enough attention to. And then I'll be honest with you, outside of that, you're still reminding them that if they have a really, really long career, when they're finished, half their life is not even over with, right?
Yeah.
And, the bank account, can be great, but half your life is not over with. And so that's always constant. I'll have them in that ear, I'm telling them, read this book, David Bach, The Automatic Millionaire. Compound interest should be your best friend. And, it takes them a little while. They're mad at me. And then, when they buy their first house, they usually call me. So it's that part, just growing the brain, don't stay the same physically, and then the totality of them in this world and what that means. That's the biggest things.
Yeah. I will say too, from like you said, just watching the game and just, being immersed in it. I mean, because if you look at, for me, I look at all from high school to college to pro, like, for me, I would prefer, if I had to watch one, I would prefer to watch college basketball, women's basketball at that, just because just the flow of the game for me makes sense. And then you see like you said, those fine-tuned pieces, the intricacies of the game more, it highlights more in college to me than, pros, on both sides, you see them jump off the wrong foot, you be like, geez, that's just, it's just great because you're just great. That's just fine. But, teaching like a young person how to enjoy the game, you're like, that's how it should be. That's what you should do. Shoot the mid-range jumper. You don't got to always shoot the three, shoot the mid-range, take the layup, that type of stuff. Right. But a lot of that stuff is missed nowadays too, just because that's not the cool thing to do type of thing. So.
Oh, I agree. I remember when they were trying to eliminate the mid-range. I was like, Simone, don't listen to them. And then look, I get it. I get the numbers and all that, but yeah. I'm with you. I enjoy every level of it because I've been exposed to it. But I could always do college.
Yeah.
And it's because of what you said. Sometimes if I tune into the NBA early, might be a lockout or somebody's not there.
Yeah.
They're playing 100 games, so he's going to rest this day. So I know when to tune in. Matchups, is it the 5th game in 10 days? So, and I'm not knocking that. I just don't enjoy that as much. But in college, it's like, they trying to get these NIL deals now. They trying to eat, right?
Yeah.
And then, and just the trickle down effect of the game and how it's evolved. I like seeing more players get involved and, elevate the game, expand their game.
Yeah. When I played, I was a mid-range jump shooter. So I love when I see someone shoot the mid-range jam. I'm like, hey, that's a beautiful shot. I don't care what nobody say. That's the best shot in the game right there.
I like it. I like it. Well, especially if it's not contested,
Yeah.
That's the big key.
But guess what? We would say that about any shot, right? You're not shooting a contested three. So
yeah.
This is true.
I'm with you there.
This is very true. I'm going to talk about the W for a little bit. With like Coach Becky coming back to the W, what does that mean for the W? Like, and how impactful, is that? Because some people, I don't know, I look at it as pros and cons to everything. Like, some people believe that she should just continue to stay in San Antonio in order to keep a foot into the door there for maybe the next woman or the next person to come along. It'd be easier. And now people, love it. Bringing her back is such a power move. It's saying we don't need a men's league. We got we got our own league over here. So I'm going back to where I started.
Yeah, I coached Becky and close personal friends with her as well. So I know Becky. And it's the people that's tuning in that has a big opinion. I just know it's weighed heavily by her and calculated. And the undertones is that, oh, if you go to this lesser league, you can't get back to the big boys. That's not how Becky thinks. That's not how I think, because if she did, she wouldn't be there. It literally is an opportunity to go run a franchise with the elite players and Olympians. But that tells you where we are, right? Oh my God, I can't believe she did that. Hell, she's been in the NBA 8 years, and I need to be careful because I like Becky. I love her. And, yeah, that part. I hate she didn't have opportunities before, but
Yeah.
I know her mind and how she thinks. And it's not one of those things where she's going to stay in one lane. She's just growing her space. And that's not something she said to me, but I just know her. I mean, she didn't get drafted, but then she ends up being this multi all-star, top 20 player, great. America didn't want her, so she goes to play with Russia, and then they hated her. So they always got something to say, right? And it's like when they decide to tune in. So to answer it specifically, I think it's great because she made the decision. That for that reason alone, because she's armed with the most information and she knows her direction and her path. And as it relates to the W, it's like it's only going to keep going up, and she's going to bring new perspective, excitement. It's not going to die down. Eyes. So it's a win-win for her and her growth. And it's also a win-win for the W and their growth. Looking forward to it. She's going to do well.
That's such a power move, and you're right about that. It's most importantly, it's her decision,
Thanks.
and that's so much power in that. Speaking of players that you've coached, what comes to mind when you hear about some of these athletes that you coach, and talk about the Swing Cash, the Alila Deladon, the Sylvia Fowles, Simone Augustus. Like we can name a whole lot of people. What comes in mind when you hear about some of these people that you've coached?
Blessed and highly favored. I can't even make it up. Like and so I don't do this a lot. So you're never just sitting in it, right? With an audience. I'm normally just, talk to Lauren Jackson about something. Well, I coach Lauren Jackson, or Tina was on today. Virginia was playing. I coached Tina Thompson. I coached Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, Epiphany Prince, Sil, Elena. I'm older. I've been doing it, but I was fortunate enough to be in some really, really nice spots. And they teach you stuff because only 5 people can play at a time. It doesn't matter how loaded the team is. You can only have so many, you have to have so many domestic players on the court. So I went to a team that was loaded, and I was an assistant. I'm like, oh my God. That was harder to manage, right? In that regard. So I'm talking about managing expectations, not the game, and that's a big part of it. So I'm blessed. I've been around some really, really good ones that made me better, and I could name a lot more. I don't want to piss anybody off.
Right, exactly. I ain't trying to get you in trouble. I ain't trying to ruin any relationships out here or any friendships out here. I'm just.
But
I
it's
always
funny.
gotta put that disclaimer out there.
It's funny you mentioned Swin Cash first, and so she's with the Pels, like right around the corner, right? And I can remember I traded for Swin because I drafted Deladon, and that's the part, like, it doesn't seem like it, but Deladon was the first stretch 4. Now we have stretch 5s, but she didn't know how to play those multi positions. Swin was someone that played the 4 in college, had to reinvent herself in the pros, became a 3, knew every position, not just hers. She was the best on-court teacher. I know that, and Swin knows that, because Deladon was accelerated. So it's kind of funny that you mentioned both of those, because Swin was just vital during that little phase.
And I think Swin Cash is kind of that underrated I feel like she don't get her kudos all the time. Like she's definitely one of those ones. She's like, hey, she's a baller when she was playing. Like she definitely was legit. Wasn't no, she was definitely at the top of her game when she was playing for sure.
I mean, think about it. You're at Connecticut, you make your mark, right?
Yeah.
You're in Detroit, you win championships, you make your mark. You go to Seattle, I'm like, if anybody fix their mouth to say any different, we're gonna just pray for them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it may not look the way someone else did it, but when you talk about impact and the gold medals, yeah, she's done well, done really well.
Amen. Who were some of your mentors that helped you along the way?
Yeah, man, I started with Coach Gunter because, of course, she recruited me and I worked for her, and she poured so much onto me. I don't know if I always appreciated it at the time, but then when I got older, she also became a friend, right? And that's what people forget. They always saw Sue, the coach, Pokey, the player, but I lost a friend. And then she helped me navigate life. I mean, she's the reason I love red wine to this day. We put some grapes away in that regard. But I mean, she was someone that was close. And sometimes those people aren't the people you see on TV. I'll name someone and you won't even know. I had a guy that coached me, Coach Dory was his name, Ken Dory, when I was like 12 and 13 years old. His basketball mind, I'm thinking, well, how in the heck is this man coaching me at 12? So it's those, and don't misunderstand me. I love looking and learning from the best, and going to training camps and chopping it up with people and watching and stealing things. Imitation, best form of flattery, in that regard. But it is not always the coaches. Like there are some teachers that were in my life, but the number one was my mom. And I know people say it all the time, but it was just different. She divorced and working 3 jobs, and just I didn't know we were poor. I had food, and watching her do that so I can go do this. Man, look, the minute I can repay her, that's all I bent my back doing, because that was the first team I was on, right? That was my first team at home. She was the head coach. I was always the rookie who didn't know better. My sister was associate head coach, GM, running things. And I got an early look at survival with that. It really helped me just in every aspect.
Family first.
Facts.
Big time. One thing I also want to try to get into or talk about a little bit was, because I know you was at the AU tryouts, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And so how was that?
Yeah, it was, I love the concept behind the entire Athletes Unlimited, from softball, lacrosse, volleyball, but just the uniqueness of the platform. I mean, look, it's a content creating company, but it really is a players first league. And I'm telling you this because I know everything from how they're, the scoring system and what they're trying to implement, and the owners that are behind it, the time frame. And at the very least, it's 44 spots for some players to play here. And during a traditional basketball season, whether it's extra or if it's incentive, it's a win-win situation. And the tryout, I think part of that was they were trying to find like 3 or 4 players that they could possibly send contracts out. So it served its purpose, and it's going to be interesting. I think there was reluctance at first with people no one wants to be first, but as I've been talking to them, there's been a few more WNBA players that are like, okay, let me do the math. For 6 weeks, I'm good. I'm in. So yeah, it's a really, really interesting concept. I think it's going to do well.
Okay. I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for it. Try to keep up with it. Yeah, for sure.
And they have a really nice TV package. Someone called me and it's like, they're going to play that many games on TV. And I said, I was trying to tell y'all. Sometimes people think it's just coach speak. I'm like, I'm trying to tell y'all, but y'all think I'm speaking in riddles. I am not. Like they understand that part. And I think the thing that drew me was, and it's gonna sound crazy, it really is about the players. And I'm not saying the W is not our NCAA, but they get a peek at what it's like to run an organization, run a team, run a practice, all of those things, the people they're going to come in contact with. It's just a nice little niche. So be on the lookout.
Definitely be on the lookout for it. I'm already excited for it.
Good deal.
I'm going to talk about Chicago a little bit real quick. So, because one of the people that you signed that was very critical to, this team's recent success is, Quigley. And, what, and other people that you coach was, Sloop. How was it coaching or being around those players and actually, get a chance to see him win this past year?
Yeah, Sluty, she was my very first draft pick. And we laugh about that because she's like in year 10 or 11. And it wasn't the sexy pick at the time, right? They were not happy with me. No, not Chicago. But, and don't misunderstand this. Like, Sloot, when you're watching her play during that NCAA tournament, yes, she scored baskets, and that's what other people noticed. But she was doing things where I'm like, okay, when the court would shrink, it slowed down for her. Most people speed up. And she just had this knack for small spaces and things like that. So you see that, you remember that, you can grow that. And so she was my first draft pick, and watching her grow at the point guard position with an expansion team, proud of her. Allie, I think when Allie came out of DePaul, she was just a shooter, right? And the story that doesn't get told is that every year she's working on her game. I think Chicago, we were the fifth team, her fifth WNBA team, but I'm in Europe and I'm watching her. And she's giving people the business, right? She's not just catch and shoot anymore. She's coming off of screens. She's even posting up with, as small as she is. And so I remember it was free agency, and I remember signing her, and ownership said, yeah, that's going to be the Chicago fans are going to be happy. Doug's going to be happy. I was like, what? I'm trying to make Pokey happy. She's killing people abroad, right? And what I saw was Allie just kept working on her game. And and that's the story that needs to be told all the time. Easiest free agent signing of my WNBA career, because I thought I was late to the party. I couldn't get in touch with her. I couldn't get in touch with her agent. Thought I was a day late, and she's like, nope. And then she came, and they just grew and they matured. Someone said to me, well, in 2014 you were there when they played Phoenix, and I was like, did you hear the year you said? 2014. Sloot had a diaper on, and she made it to the finals. So this is hers, right? It's funny how what people leave out, right? No, the tables are turned. That Phoenix team had Penny Taylor, Candace Dupree, DeWanna Bonner. I'm like, this is time, right? And so it was great seeing her mature, because you were there when she had all the doubt, and to do it at a place that, she stayed. I mean, she wanted to be there. So I'm happy for her.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy for him, because just kind of keeping up with their career and kind of just learning the game, and understanding players not just on a surface level, but they try to do some research on them, just try to get to know them by understanding some of their past, reading past articles and stuff like that, just to get a chance to watch them grow with the game and stuff. It's it's been fun. So I love Quig's game, like the way that she leads. The point guard position is incredible. Between both
that release, right? That release.
Yeah.
Her favorite is Steph. She loves Steph Curry. And one year she got I think it's her first sixth player of the year. We were able to get Steph Curry to do a video message of her and congratulate her. And I thought she would die right on the jumbotron. but with all the, if you saw the work ethic and the precision of intentional stuff, it's crazy. It's crazy good. And so they deserve that.
I believe it. I think we got a couple more questions, or this may be the last question we have before we go into the rapid fire. But what's some advice that you would give to your younger self? If you was to, turn back the clock, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh, wow. How long we have? No, no. I'm thinking, because I get asked this a lot.
Oh no. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing would be, I wasn't always comfortable asking people for stuff. right? Like, I think I missed some time where I should have been a little bit more annoying. I'm talking about people that could help me. You know, you're always so proper and staying your lane. Oh, I'm just a little assistant. And I think I missed some years with that. That's one part. I think early on, I wish I was a better listener. You know, I've realized that would have been amazing. Even if the person was shy and didn't want to say anything, then let there be some silence instead of filling the space. That would have been great because that has served me well to listen, and it's so easy and it really does help everything. Yeah, and I think the other piece to that was sometimes we think it's an age thing or a level thing to give back, and it doesn't have to be. I don't think you have to reach a certain level of whatever they deem success to reach back. And I, I don't know if I did it by design or accident, but I wish I would have done more of it because people did it for me. And yeah, that those things right there. People looking for help should, make yourself available.
Yeah, I mean that applies anywhere. You don't have to wait till you get to the level of success. Any knowledge that you have, if you're able to, in your position to, you can go ahead and pass it on to someone else that's trying to make it. And,
Oh,
and
I agree. I think sometimes in sports, because we're everyone's entertainment, even though they think they're experts, there's so much commentary on it. So we move different. Like we would do that if we were in a school setting. A fifth year teacher would help, and so I think it's that whole sports mentality. Just so it kind of sometimes makes you pause. And I wish I could have pushed through the pause. After year 3 or 4. I let the pause win early, but not anymore.
all right, Drawing, you got anything else?
Come on, Juju.
I love it. I love it. That concludes the first part of our interview. So now we're gonna go into our rapid fire and have a little fun to close out. So this is the part we call the game within the game. So my very first question for you is, are you ready to play?
Yes.
All right. So very first question is chocolate chip cookies or oatmeal raisin, oatmeal chocolate chip, sugar cookies, or snickerdoodle?
Chocolate chip.
Okay. From where? Where's your favorite place to go?
Listen, I just picked that because I have a problem. My salt is my problem. I'm not into the sweets. I have the opposite problem. Chocolate chip sounded simple, and I probably had it the most in my life. So I just chocolate chip.
Makes sense. So the next question would be TV shows or movies.
Oh my God. Now you're gonna make me embarrass myself because I'm not good with TV and I'm usually 3 years behind on everything.
That's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Like I can't yeah, I don't, I think I watched Queens yesterday, but I'm so far behind. And I have to go online and see what people are watching. Somebody said to watch Succession, so I'm watching that. Of course, I do all our shows. I'm in the, I did all my Power and all our People shows. But I'm just, it's crazy. We don't get married to something because we live this crazy coach life. So I'm trying to catch up on that and be normal. So give me a suggestion.
Yeah, we got you.
Well, I mean, you said Power. Okay, you got Snowfall. You got that one
on my list. I just some NBA player was asking for said, can you guys give me some TV shows to watch? And I wrote that down. Snowfall. Okay, what else?
BMF. It's another one.
That was on there.
Okay. If you like, it's a new sitcom that just came out. If you like The Office, it's similar to The Office, but it's called American Auto. It comes on NBC. Okay. I'm trying to think. If you like crime drama, I like The Blacklist. That's another good show I like. I'll look at.
I'm so out of touch. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, other shows that's out there like All American.
Yeah,
I watched those. I watched that one. My niece kept me up with that one, and Queen Sugar, and I'm down with all of that because it's a lot of it's taped here. But some of the new ones I've been hearing, but I haven't seen.
You watch P-Valley? That's another one.
Boy, you got me. I'm at the right stuff down.
Yeah, that one's a little. That one, it's That one, yeah. If you like Power and all them, you
Okay.
would like P Valley.
Okay. I got 3 or 4. Okay.
Okay. All right. So now I'm gonna try to ask this question without trying to get you in trouble or anything.
Okay.
So I kind of want to ask this 2 ways, but I'm gonna ask this way first. Your favorite 5 players in the WNBA. Just your favorite 5. I ain't talking about is your own personal list.
Trying to get people in trouble. Lord.
I'm not trying to get people in trouble. I told you that. My goal is not to get people in trouble. It's not like I'm asking
you
people.
Already done started. You already done started.
I'm not asking for like
Okay.
all-time list. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, boo. Okay.
Oh my goodness. I think some of it has to come with, you can be if their favorite from afar, but someone asked this different about an all-star team, but this is really good. I think I thoroughly enjoy, no special artist, Sylvia, Simone. Obviously watching Slutty's growth, because I think it's more about the position.
Yes.
I lean toward that, and I really respect that. But I can go on and on, and I think Diana Taurasi, I had her in her prime, and I had her abroad when she was just going bonkers and changing her game and evolving. Like, people forget that. I was over in Europe, and I think she just has a command of the game, the floor, people, because she's, Rain Man with basketball in that regard. How many is that? 4? That's only 4?
I think that's 4, yeah.
I don't want to name anybody else. Tell him he got cut off.
That's
No, but
that's cool.
I just say that just because it's a totality of them, how they impact the game, the people, their longevity.
Yeah.
Like, Sylvia makes you forget that she's been in the league 14 years. She's strong. Come on, like, we take her for granted. Look, I'll get pissed off talking about Syl, because it's almost like, oh yeah, she did it again. Well, give her flowers. We just expect it. And she likes to sew and draw, and she's a sweet human being. So she's definitely
Nice to sew and draw.
Yeah, that's stuff you don't hear about often.
And she's gonna be a
sure.
mortician. She wants to be a mortician. You knew that?
Wow. I didn't know that one.
Yeah, she's probably finished. She's probably finished with that. But
wow.
Yeah, man, I've been fortunate. I really have.
Okay. All right. Now this one is more of we'll go non-basketball, is more personal related.
Okay.
Your top 5 wines.
Ooh, that's easy. No, it's not easy. Top 5 wines.
And I need recommendations, because see, I'm a wine person myself. So
red.
Yeah, same here.
I'm
I got my paper out.
I'm not good with white. I like reds. You like Cabs or Pinot?
I like Pinot.
Okay. Pinot. Lola. There's a Lola wine. It's a Pinot Noir that I like. I really like, one of my favorite cost but good is Freak Show, and it's a cab. I like Freak Show. I'm trying to think what else is in here. Copain is a nice Pinot Noir. I like Copain. I'm trying to say that everyday price range, because sometimes I'll treat myself, to a Caymus or a cake bread. But I like Duckhorn, because Duckhorn kind of, if you don't want to put that money on it, there's also Decoy, because that's in the same family. I really, really like. And I'm gonna give you one that I just discovered a couple of years ago. It's there's 3 of them. It's a Bowen, Boen. It's a Pinot Noir, California one, and work with me here. It's the one that has a twist off cap. I promise you, it's only $19.99, and it's a Pinot, but it presents like a cab. Like, it's beautiful color, got little legs on it. Go get that one tomorrow.
Okay.
Sure.
That's my mission for tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I love the wine, man. I chased those grapes all over Europe.
So I guess, okay, so how is it different from, like over here versus like in other countries?
Yeah, I like the old world wines. They're just not as readily available here. Like, I'll have to find a little shop. Like, there's Faubourg Wine Shop that have the old world wines. I do like those. That's actually something that I get some old world taste from Becky because of Pop. Pop loves his wine, has his own thing in I think in Oregon, but I love the old world wines. I just don't get them enough here because they're not as popular.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a friend of mine that's trying to turn me on some of the Italian wines. But yeah, my favorite pastime, one of them.
As I've started doing recently, I started just taking a glass of wine just as I end my day. That's what I started doing recently. So I've kind of quite enjoyed that.
Yes.
What are your favorite 5 places to travel to?
5.
5, or it doesn't have to be 5. You could just name one.
I'll tell you, I need to get to the continent of Africa. I just don't know where to go because people keep telling me all these places, right? I have to get to the motherland. I want to go to Tuscany because I want to be in all those villages and drink the wine. And I have to do that because it's beautiful. You can feel your belly and your soul with all of that. A friend of mine is trying to get me to Thailand, and he keeps showing me these images and the people and how beautiful. And I actually had a guy that's from here that he used to do my website years ago. He went to Thailand, never came back, but he just said, I'm telling you, it's underrated in that sense. But I think on my bucket list next is I need to get to Tuscany. I have to do that. Everyone's talking about it. So once things settle down, I need about 12 days to go enjoy and unwind. And of course, the Bora and the Maldives and all those places, like I'm hating on people that's posting that. I'm like, really? That's what y'all doing to us? That water looks like you can drink it, it's so nice. But those places just seem to relax because you forget about the natural beauty of things. We're going through this, all the muck. It's so nice sometimes to be in that peace with nature.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So, what would be your favorite old school car?
Well, I have an 84 El Camino. It was my dad's that he gave to me, and
Okay.
I fixed it up. My fix it up. Like I'm not really into that. It was to honor him after he passed several years ago. So that's really been fun. I tell people I get more attention in the damn El Camino than I get in any car. People want to buy it or get a lot of attention in it. But I lean towards the El Camino because of that. But something about the Mustang, there's a between 64 and 67, just it stays kind of sexy to me because it's not too muscle and it's kind of sporty, but it has that nostalgic look. There's a thing down here called Cruising the Coast in October that we go to just to, immerse ourselves in all those old cars. But the El Camino has staying power with me because it's unique, it's different, and it's my dad.
So you said the Mustang, like the Mustang, like Tommy had in Power, like that.
Yes.
Body style.
Yeah, because it has a little muscle, but it's still sexy, right?
Yeah.
It's not big,
right.
and you can it's versatile.
Yeah.
I think you can keep it old because it has that look, or you can modernize it because of those lines. And I think that's what I like about it. It's versatile, right? It's a utility car.
Yeah.
It resonates with me.
Definitely
I used to be back in those the Impalas. I just they were just unique looking to me. But if I had to, I'd have to go to Mustang for sure.
Cool.
Yeah. One of the bucket list things that me and my wife has is we want an old school car and and fix it up and make it look nice and take it out occasionally. That's a bucket list thing for later down the road where things are going good. Not saying things aren't going good now, but you know what I mean.
I get it.
Let's see. Next question would be, what is your favorite sports moment you have ever seen or witnessed? You probably seen a lot of those. So
Oh wow. I didn't have to be involved in it though, right? Oh, favorite.
No, you don't
No.
have to be. No.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. It's so many. I guess my most recent one, was watching, Dawn get that gold medal. And I know people are like, whatever. Like, no, it's hard. It's hard to even be in the conversation and be in that position, right? It's hard when everyone's gunning for you. It's hard. And to see that comment, and I think it was favored because of what she represents, what basketball represents, the stage that we're on globally, and to watch her lead it. And it's funny because when she talks, she'll say, I didn't want to coach, and here she is impacting the game. So I just remember that because, she's the age of, close to people that she's playing, she played with some of those players. And I like that moment for what it signified to young aspiring coaches, but also players, because she checked off all those boxes. So I think that's a favorite because I'm selfish with the basketball. One for me.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. So from this past season, what was your favorite WNBA jersey?
Ooh. All of them that were available. I'm different, man. Look,
I got
listen,
you.
I'm not being, don't let me go there. Like the fact that people want them. And anytime I see a
Yeah.
little boy in one, it's just, it could be anybody. I
Yeah.
don't care. But the fact that people were pissed that they weren't available and they were selling out, it's like, I'm that age, right? I'm 52. So I was just loving it. And I'm the yeah, anybody, anyone, because I just think that whole concept is cool.
I used to be a big jersey head back when I was in like elementary
That was the
school.
thing. That was the thing, though.
Yeah, I was a big jersey person.
Wait, how old are you
didn't matter.
guys? How old are you
I'm
guys?
25.
See, y'all are babies. I'm sitting in like
I'm-
jerseys. Oh my God.
Yeah.
All of
Yeah.
them.
I'm 30. I just clipped 30.
And I still got my
30.
collection to a degree, but
Really?
yeah. Sport. I mean, any sports. I had hockey, I had baseball, I had basketball. Look, I mean, if I still had it, I would definitely get some women's basketball stuff too. But I couldn't find any at the time because I didn't have them available. So
That part.
Yeah, it was until recently when I start buying jerseys and start buying stuff. Growing up, my mom was not. What you need this for? You wear a uniform every day. You don't need.
Right.
It was a wrap. We got other things to buy money on. Spend our money on other than a jersey. So yeah, that's how that went growing up. All right. So what's your favorite pair of shoes?
I'm not cool, fellas. Listen, I'm not. I just kind of looked in the shoes. True story. One of my players, I'll say her name, Erica Wheeler. She gave our entire staff some off-whites, right? I didn't know at the time. I was like, okay. I was like, well, why are they yellow, right? They were like this bright yellow color. Why you call them off-whites? And then, so we wore them. You would have thought, everyone thought we were so cool. And I'm like, oh my God, they're going to be asking me about these shoes. I'm easy. Like, I have bad feet. I've had 2 surgeries, need 2 more. So whatever's comfortable with a big toe box is where I am. I was talking to Trimatier, and I literally just checked Chantel Trimatier. She works for Nike. And I said, listen, I need a good looking shoe with a big toe box. And she said, get this Nike Air Vapor Max. This is the one that's going to be stylish and it's going to be comfortable. So you get to my age, you're trying to be comfortable. I don't know. What are you guys into? My niece knows all the shoes. She's Jordans and Kobe down.
Yeah. I'm a Nike, but Kobe is that's my go-to shoe for everything that I still got pairs of Kobe's. The last ones that they released, I got some just kind of hidden in my closet. I only wear them like maybe once a year just to commemorate him type of thing. But
wow.
Other than that, I'm like, yeah, it's the last pairs of Kobe's that came out. I can't really wear these. So
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, my favorite pair right now is the Adidas. I want to say it's the Ultra Boost. I want to say those things is just flat out comfortable. Those things make you feel like you're walking on air. So
okay. I like that.
And then also, I mean, I'm big with my polo stuff. So I mean, I got some like polo slides and
Yes.
flip flops that I wear.
Oh
That
my
are
God.
just
Okay, you talk about
perfect.
stylish too. Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like that. You go for style, comfort. Like I'm
yeah.
always looking and learning with this generation, because I don't want to be that old head that's looking crazy.
Nah, you won't get that.
Good.
Get you a pair of Jordans. It
Be okay.
basically the rest of if you get Jordans, the rest is history. You'll be fine. But
And that's what's been good because when you're coaching, and I was in a W, they give you all the latest, right? So that's why people thought you knew. And my little alter ego, little Pokey was saying, they just gave you them shoes. You don't even know what it is. And they thought you were cool, man. That's some fly shoes, coach. I'm like, yeah. They fly and free, and they're gonna look good on me. So you're right about that. These kids will keep you informed.
For sure.
For sure. If you can go pro in any other sport other than basketball, what would it be?
Ooh. I'm Tammy Brady. I got an arm. I'm the quarterback. Look at you.
I love it.
I listen. I'm good. I can throw the football.
Hey,
Ask anybody who knows me. Ask any of my staff. Look, we would have a football at practice, and we're running routes, button hooks, post route. I'm telling you, I don't know. I played city ball, street ball with the guys growing up, and Tammy Brady is my name. And I'm not a big Tom. He's awesome, but that's what they would call me. Oh, you're trying to be a little Tammy Brady. I said, I guess. Football.
That's a nickname for me.
Tammy Brady.
Football.
Wow. That's the first. I think that might be a first.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
Football. I think just from all the consensus, I think a lot of people haven't picked football. A lot of people don't pick football. They pick like golf or something like that.
Oh man, I
Yeah.
love you get 80 people working together. I love everything about football.
Yeah.
How they script things, the communication, how the coach has to delegate and trust and the play. It is a mind. I love it. A lot of basketball coaches are into that. They follow that whole aura of football.
Okay. All right. Let's see. If you could be a hype person for any artist, who would it be?
Oh Lord, a hype person. I don't know if any of them need it. Is Tupac dead for real?
Is he?
We believe so.
I don't know. Listen, it's crazy because I'm down here with P and all of them, with No Limit and that group.
Yeah.
We used to hoop, back when Mia X and Suck the Shock and everybody. So I always fall back to that. But I hype person for. I'm like everybody else. I love Beyonce and Jay. How they putting stuff out. I'm liking these new artists, but I'm a music freak. Like I just everything, and I have range. Everything from jazz to, I like the instrumentalists. Like right now, I'm into FKJ. Look him up. FKJ, right? And my goal is to see him live. Like this dude is a genius. So I don't discriminate. I'm a big jazz person, so I might be hyping some of the things that are boring to other people. But I kind of cater to that.
That's okay. Look, it's your choice.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
yeah.
And always gospel. Now, if you come around, it don't have to be Sunday, but I'm hyped for any type of gospel. Like I had somebody say, that don't sound like gospel. I'm like, what gospel is supposed to sound like? So
Yeah.
I get hyped for all gospel, all day, every day.
Yeah, I heard the first time I heard FKJ. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Desmond. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No. I was. Here you go. No, the first time I heard FKJ was on. He did what's his name? Masego.
Oh,
Tado. That's the first time I heard the combination of the two. Yeah, that's the first time I just kind of stumbled upon it, and I was like, who is it? Who are these two? And I was like, and then started splitting them, and I listened to him.
Yes.
So I was like, oh wow, he's talented, very talented.
And he has some things where he's online and he's just showing you how he's looping stuff in.
Yeah,
and
right.
he'll just play for like 45 minutes to an hour,
Yep.
and you'll think you're watching this concert, and it's like, is this real?
Yeah.
Just genius kind of stuff. So
yeah.
So I got to get to see him. I need to see Adele and anything gospel. I like, McClurkin. I like Franklin. I like Yolanda Adams, Marvin Sapp, John B. All of them. I mean, that's just all day, every day.
Gotcha. One thing I do want to ask was, how has your faith played a part of your career?
It's just a staple. I can say this though, I hadn't always been in the church, especially when you're abroad, but I had my pastor who, fell ill and died from COVID. He was like, I just need you to be the church. If you're not in here, be the church. And when you're abroad, like we're so used to online services because you're abroad, right? So it wasn't a big deal, because you want to feel that. But I don't think I've always been comfortable having it out front, because in different spaces it was so welcoming to go to the WNBA and they say, yeah, 1 hour before the game there's chapel. I'm like, what? Like both teams gonna go, and I'm like, I'm not saying I was as excited about it because it kind of messed up my routine and flow. I'm like, but it was nice to know that that's what the players wanted, right? And my thing was, why 1 hour before the game? But hey, whatever gets you ready, it kind of puts things in perspective. So I think the foundation of that is always there. But how that goes back to us as Black people. That's the one place we could gather, feel good. It was always a good meal after church. So
that's true.
Hey, amen. Come on. Amen to that, right?
Yeah. Take your Sunday nap.
Yep. The itis, right? Must. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. One of the last questions we have for you is.
But wait, hold on, Desmond, hold on. Oh. Speaking of the itis, another show, if you haven't seen it, even though it's an older show, The Boondocks is another show. I don't know if you've seen that, but The Boondocks, they had a whole episode. It's one of our shows, but it kind of hits on everything in kind of our chapters. Everything. I got those fellas in the background there are the Boondocks. So if you know, John Witherspoon.
My nephew was into them. Okay.
Yeah, like rest in peace, John Witherspoon. But he was the voice of the granddad. Regina King is the voice of the two boys. So that's another show. It's an older show. They haven't came back on yet, but it's a good little show.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And look, you mentioned food, and this is a little different, but I really enjoyed. Have you seen High on the Hog?
Mm-mm.
Check it out. That's all I'm gonna talk about.
High on the Hog.
Because it ties in food to the motherland, to how it made it here, and our people from the rice and Carolinas to everything, and it is so well done. And then there's the historical piece behind it, and it's really, really good. We're High on the Hog. Check it out. Boondocks.
Okay. So one of the last questions that we have for you is, if you could take over any organization, who would it be? Now, this organization it can be anything. It doesn't have to be sports related. It can be, I want to go take over. She put her head down, like, I just want to.
Wow.
But yeah, it could be any organization that you want to take over.
You
get the keys.
Hona Mia. Oh. I'm being greedy right now in my thoughts. I want it all. Did you have the biggest impact? Bill Gates, let me run your foundation. let me run your foundation and funnel that to the places that can meet the needs quickly of more people. No, I'm just trying to think of the most impactful place. That's a good one. You got me on that one. The biggest impact. I don't know. I need to think on that one. I gotta knock it out the park.
Okay.
You always thinking about like, and I'm not knocking things because I think I'm just greedy and I want it all yesterday. But like, you want to believe that you can the whole nastiness of politics just makes it sour. Like, things get caught up and you can't really move the needle. So I really, and this is not being selfish, but we know money moves things and it gets people's attention. So that was my segue into, where can I get the dollars? So what I'm saying makes sense to other people and put it in the right place. So I gotta think on that one. That's a good one. Where would you, if you could run something, what would it be?
Ooh, so today has been the day of people asking us questions. So
I'm curious. I think it's a great question.
Yeah. Oh man.
Mine would be Apple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just because not saying I can control everything, but I control basically how you communicate with people, and I can tweak it, however I want to see it, So.
No, I like that, and it's powerful, and it's global, and it trickles down in the areas we don't even think about. We might be thinking about the update, but you're talking, you're trading people, and something with technology, because look, they were talking about buying a virtual real estate in the metaverse. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's the metaverse is going to be a real thing.
Look, I'm gonna hop on a call next week to learn more about it. I'm like, my goodness, I was happy to get a real house in this world. Y'all got to get one in the meta world, but that's really good. And it has to be something technological because that's where we're going.
Yeah,
we always talk about STEM. So,
for me, it would be a school. It doesn't matter which particular school, but it'd be a school.
Okay, I like that. Okay, I'll have Bill Gates money to pour into your schools, and I might be borrowing some money from Apple because they're good, and that's how we move the needle. I like that. I like it a lot.
I seen too where somebody bought. They did what? They spent $125K to be virtual neighbors with Snoop Dogg in the metaverse. Man. Already people are going crazy over this. Just to be a virtual neighbor. We ain't talking about real life. We're talking about in a fake environment, but they want to be neighbors with Snoop Dogg. So they are virtual neighbors with Snoop Dogg for $125K.
Yeah, you can say that.
Welcome to the new age, people.
I know that's right. The deal, double G.
Yeah, that just reminds me. I need to go see if I can go invest in some stocks for them.
I already got it. Look, already got it in my queue. So,
hey, look, it's about to be a wrap.
Love it.
So the hardest question of them all is, how can people keep up with your career and keep up with everything that you got going on, and keep up with you going forward?
she's like, wait a second, that ain't that hard.
Look, I keep it simple. If Pokey Chatman, official Pokey Chatman is my website. Pokey Chatman on IG, on Twitter, and Facebook. And I don't follow a schedule. I try to be who I am. I think sometimes we're just in a box as one aspect of our existence, and it's not how it really is. It's just the one that people tune into. So yeah, if that's where you'll find me. I might be drinking wine one day, or watching basketball the next, or hanging out with family, or on my bike or something like that.
I love it. I love everything. All right, let's go ahead and close this out. For all the listeners and subscribers out there, thank you for tuning in. You can follow us on all of our social media platforms, whether it's Twitter, Instagram at CTG_podcast, on Facebook, and YouTube is Capturing the Game Podcast. We can also be found on your favorite podcast platform, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Anchor, Apple, whatever you go to listen to your favorite podcast. Go ahead and look us up, Capturing the Game Podcast. Pokey, it was amazing having you on. You were awesome, phenomenal. Thank you for spending time with us on this Sunday afternoon.
No, it was my pleasure. My pleasure, Boo and Juju. Maybe we can do it again sometime soon. Seriously, thank you guys, and keep doing stuff like this. I like the people you bring. It's broad, and it has some depth to it, and it's good to get it out there so people can pay attention having awareness of things. So thank you guys for doing this.
Thank you.